You won't believe the story behind Chris Tucker's sudden disappearance from the Friday movies? Let me tell you, this is how one of the most beloved comedy stars vanished from a franchise that made him famous, leaving fans shocked and confused. When the original Friday hit theaters in 1995, Chris Tucker's role as Smokey became unforgettable. His fast-talking, hilarious character quickly turned into a cult favorite, making him one of the brightest new stars in Hollywood. The film was a hit, loved by many, and everyone expected Tucker to come back for the sequel. But here is the shocking part. When Next Friday came out in 2000, Chris Tucker was nowhere to be seen. His absence left a huge gap, and fans couldn't stop asking why. Before diving into the mystery of why Tucker left the franchise, we have to look at his early career to understand what really happened. Chris Tucker's journey to stardom wasn't easy. He started as a comedian performing in small clubs like the Comedy Act Theater in Atlanta, where he realized his passion for making people laugh. He once said that the moment he felt the audience's laughter returning to him, he knew comedy was his calling for life. That energy pushed him to move to Los Angeles, a city full of dreams and tough competition, where he worked hard for years. Every night he performed stand-up shows, sharpening his unique style, full of energy, wit, and unpredictability. Tucker's big break came in 1992, when he appeared on HBO's Def Comedy Jam. This show was famous for launching the careers of many comedians, and Tucker's performance was electric. His lively delivery and quick jokes made a strong impression on both the audience and industry insiders. From that moment on, doors started opening for him. Soon he appeared in movies like House Party 3 and then landed the role of Smokey in Friday. His performance as Smokey was not just funny, it was real and relatable. Audiences connected with his charm and humor, making him a star overnight. But what makes this story different? Surprisingly, Tucker didn't have an easy time getting the role of Smokey. During auditions, his performance was actually poor. The casting director called it horrible, saying Tucker was tired from touring and didn't understand how to act in a film setting. Other famous comedians like Chris Rock and Tommy Davidson were also considered for the role. Yet, the producers saw something special in Tucker's raw talent and gave him another chance. This gamble paid off as Tucker eventually brought Smokey to life with unmatched improvisation and charisma. The film was shot quickly in just 20 days, so Tucker's ability to think fast and add humor on the spot became a huge asset. His energy made Smokey unforgettable and the film a classic. Now, the craziest part, despite all this success, Tucker chose not to return for Next Friday. Why would he leave such a promising role? This question puzzled many fans and even those close to the franchise. Ice Cube, who co-created Friday, expressed his frustration openly, saying Tucker's absence was like losing a star player on a championship team. But the truth behind Tucker's decision was deeper. After Friday, Tucker's career exploded with big roles like Rush Hour alongside Jackie Chan, where he became one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood. The money and fame he earned from these new opportunities made returning to the Friday sequels less appealing. Financial reasons, personal growth, and career ambitions all played a part in this surprising choice. Destiny took an unexpected turn for Tucker after Friday, leading him on a path far from the character that made him famous. He wanted to break free from being typecast and explore bigger, more serious roles. Alongside this career shift, Tucker's personal life was changing too. He became deeply involved in his Christian faith, which influenced the way he approached comedy and life itself. He began to move away from the wild and sometimes crude humor he was known for, seeking a different kind of respect and meaning in his work. This spiritual transformation was another key reason he stepped away from the Friday franchise, leaving fans to wonder about the true man behind the laughs. But here is the shocking part. Chris Tucker's journey after leaving Friday wasn't all smooth sailing. While many believed his rising fame with Rush Hour would make his career unstoppable, behind the scenes, he faced serious struggles that few knew about. After the massive success of Rush Hour in 1998, Tucker's life changed overnight. Suddenly, he was making millions, attending high-profile events and working with Hollywood's biggest stars. Yet the fame came with pressure he hadn't expected. The same energy and excitement that fueled his comedy also brought challenges that would test him in ways no one saw coming. As Tucker became a household name, his personal life started to feel the strain. His fast lifestyle, constant traveling, and hectic work schedule made it hard for him to keep his balance. Reports surfaced that he struggled with financial problems despite his enormous paychecks. You won't believe it, but at one point, Tucker was reportedly behind on taxes and had millions owed to the government. The IRS put a lien on his property, and rumors swirled about his financial management. Many fans found this hard to believe. How could someone earning so much be in trouble? But this was just the start of a difficult chapter in his life. Around the same time, Tucker was also dealing with health issues that affected his career. He was diagnosed with a rare heart condition, which forced him to slow down and rethink his priorities. This heart problem made it risky for him to keep up with the intense work and travel schedules. It was a moment that changed everything. Tucker revealed later that he felt scared and vulnerable, realizing how fragile life could be. This health scare also played a role in his decision to step back from big Hollywood roles and the loud spotlight he had grown used to. It was as if fate was telling him to take a different path. What makes this story different is how Tucker's faith became a pillar of strength during this time. He leaned heavily on his Christian beliefs, using them as a way to cope with the chaos and uncertainty. Instead of chasing fame and money, he focused on his spiritual journey, seeking peace and purpose beyond Hollywood's glitter. Friends close to Tucker shared that he became more humble, reflective, and committed to his faith. This change surprised many who had only seen his wild and comedic side. Tucker wasn't just a funny guy anymore. He was someone looking for meaning, trying to heal and rebuild his life quietly. But here is where it gets interesting. Despite stepping away from the Friday series and some big films, Tucker's love for comedy never disappeared. In fact, he kept performing stand-up in small venues and even did surprise appearances on late-night shows. Fans who followed his career closely noticed his comedy style had matured. It was less about loud jokes and more about storytelling, life lessons, and humor mixed with wisdom. This new approach showed a side of Tucker few had seen before, a man who had been through battles and was now ready to share his truth. It was like watching an old friend grow up right before your eyes. Destiny took another unexpected turn when Tucker decided to take on a role in the 2018 film Silver Linings Playbook, which was a dramatic change from his usual comedic parts. People were shocked to see him act in a serious movie that received critical praise. It showed that even after all the ups and downs, Tucker's talent and determination remained strong. But here is the twist. Despite these efforts to reinvent himself, Hollywood's changing landscape and his past financial troubles made it difficult for him to regain the same level of stardom he once had. Many doors closed, and he faced new challenges in getting the roles he wanted. This is where the story becomes more complicated. The disappearance of Chris Tucker from the Friday franchise was not just about money or career choices. It was about a man fighting his own battles, health problems, financial struggles, and a deep search for identity and purpose. What you might not know is that Tucker's absence also affected the Friday movies themselves. The sequels had to change their tone and characters, trying to fill the huge gap left by Smokey's missing presence. This shift changed the feel of the movies and left many fans feeling like something important was lost forever. But here is the craziest part. While fans were still waiting for Chris Tucker to return to the Friday series, rumors began to swirl about what was really happening behind the scenes. For years, there was talk that the original cast was ready to reunite for a new Friday movie. Everyone hoped Smokey would come back, bringing back the magic that made the first film a classic. Yet, something kept holding things back. The truth was more complicated than anyone imagined. Sources close to the production revealed that there were serious disagreements over contracts and creative control. Chris Tucker reportedly wanted more than just a paycheck. He wanted a say in the story and his character's future. The studio, on the other hand, was hesitant to give him that much power. This tug-of-war made negotiations drag on for years, frustrating fans and everyone involved. You won't believe how close they came to an agreement, only to see it fall apart again and again. It was like a never-ending chess game, where each side made moves but refused to give up the upper hand. At the same time, Tucker was cautious about returning to a role that had defined him for so long. After all he had been through, the health scares, financial troubles, and personal growth, he didn't want to simply repeat what he had done before. He wanted Smokey to be more than just a funny sidekick. He wanted the character to have depth and meaning, reflecting the changes in his own life. This demand made the studio nervous because they feared it would change the tone of the franchise. But Tucker was firm. He wasn't interested in going back just for nostalgia or easy money. He wanted to bring something real and fresh. What makes this story even more interesting is how the cast's friendships played a role. Ice Cube, who created the Friday series and played Craig, remained close to Tucker. They often spoke about bringing the team back together, yet the business side kept getting in the way. The tension between creative vision and financial demands created a gap even among friends. It was a reminder that Hollywood isn't just about art or friendship. It's also a tough business full of compromises and hard choices. Tucker's absence wasn't just about him. It was about a bigger battle between what the fans wanted and what the industry allowed. But here is where it gets emotional. Tucker's personal life was going through its own storm during this time. While he tried to focus on his faith and healing, the pressures of fame and public expectation weighed heavily on him. Interviews revealed that Tucker sometimes felt misunderstood and trapped by his image. The man who made millions laugh also struggled with loneliness and anxiety. It was a hidden side that few saw and even fewer talked about. This emotional battle added another layer to why he was hesitant to jump back into the spotlight or the Friday franchise. Destiny threw another twist when Tucker made surprising appearances at charity events and small comedy shows. These moments reminded fans of his true spirit, generous, funny, and real. Despite everything, he never lost his love for making people smile. But the question remained, would he ever return to the role that made him famous? Or was Smokey's story finished forever? This mystery kept fans guessing and hoping for answers. As negotiations stalled and years passed, the Friday franchise moved on without Tucker. The later sequels tried to fill the void with new characters, but many fans felt something was missing. The chemistry, the jokes, the heart, all were different without Smokey. It was a painful reminder that some roles aren't just parts in a movie. They become a piece of a person's life, and when that piece is gone, the story changes forever. As time went on, the world kept watching and waiting. The question everyone asked was, would Chris Tucker ever come back as Smokey, or was this chapter truly closed? Then, out of nowhere, something unexpected happened. Tucker agreed to talk openly in an interview that surprised the entire entertainment world. For the first time, he shared the real reasons behind his long silence, the fears he battled, and the hopes he still held deep inside. He revealed how much the role meant to him, but also how it had trapped him in a way he never imagined. The fame, the pressure to always be funny, and the weight of expectations wore on his spirit. What made this revelation so powerful was how honest and raw he was. He spoke about moments when he felt lost, battling with his health, and struggling to find balance between his career and personal life. Yet, despite all the challenges, he confessed he never stopped loving the character of Smokey. He said that the role had given him purpose and joy, but also that he wanted to return to it on his own terms. A version of Smokey that was wiser, stronger, and more real. This wasn't just about a comeback. It was about healing old wounds and rewriting the story with respect and care. This interview sent shockwaves through Hollywood and among fans. Suddenly, a new hope ignited. Maybe, just maybe, the long-awaited Friday reunion was not impossible after all. But here's the twist. Tucker said he was only willing to return if the story was right, if it honored the original spirit, but also showed growth and change. He wasn't interested in just redoing the past. He wanted to tell something new, something meaningful. This was a bold stance, one that surprised many, but also earned deep respect. As the news spread, talks between Tucker and the producers started again. This time they were different. Instead of fighting over money or control, the conversation focused on the story, the heart, and the fans. Everyone knew this was a chance to bring closure to a saga that had stretched for years. It was a chance to give Smokey the ending he deserved. The industry buzzed with excitement, and fans grew hopeful. But life had one last twist. Just when it seemed everything was falling into place, an unexpected health scare threatened to delay the plans once more. Tucker faced a difficult battle, one that tested his strength and commitment to the role he loved. It was a reminder that behind every story of fame and success, there is a human being fighting battles unseen by the public. This moment added a layer of suspense and uncertainty. Would he recover and finally step back into Smokey's shoes, or would fate decide otherwise? In the end, the story of Chris Tucker and Smokey is not just about a movie character or Hollywood drama. It's about resilience, growth, and the power of hope. It's about how a role can change a life, and how life, in turn, can shape the story we tell. For millions of fans, the dream of seeing Smokey again lives on. But now, it carries a deeper meaning. It's a story of waiting, of understanding, and of believing that sometimes the biggest comebacks come not just from the stage or screen, but from the heart.